We are at the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum, and we are standing beside the Jewish Claims Conference sign or carving, rock carving, and it says, "In appreciation to the Conference on Jewish Material Claims Against Germany Claims Conference." I have a personal testimony of discovering that this was actually going on. I was coming over to Israel in the year 2000 to work on a tour video, and we spent the night in Frankfurt, Germany, and next morning I came down to the ticket counter, and they had upgraded me from coach to business class. Now that is a great blessing on an international trip. And so I had no clue what they were doing. I got in that seat and I kept looking around trying to be incognito, afraid they'd change their mind. The last man came in, last passenger on the plane, came in and sat down in the seat beside me. We started talking, and his name was Niles Clemens. I said, "Niles, why are you going to Israel?" He said, "Have you ever heard of the Jewish Claims Conference?" And I said, "Yes, but I don't know much about it." He said, "The Jewish Claims Conference is in Jerusalem. They are working to give the monies back that was confiscated by the Nazis. We have millions of dollars in the banks in Germany. We don't know who they belong to. We have concluded they belong to the Jewish people. Jewish Claims Conference is designed to track down the children, and as soon as we establish who these people are, we're going to give them the money back." And I looked at him and I said, "Niles, do you realize that God has appointed you centuries ago to do this job?" And he looked at me really funny and he said, "What are you talking about?" And I quoted Zechariah 14:1. It says, "A day is coming for the Lord, and your spoil will be divided in your midst, for I will gather all the nations to battle against Jerusalem." So, verse 1, "A day is coming for the Lord when the spoil taken from you will be divided among you." And I said, "You're on your way to Jerusalem to divide that spoil." He was sitting there just totally overwhelmed. And I said, "Well, Niles," he looked at me and he said, "I have a fund of $11.2 billion that we're going to try to redistribute." Well, I said, "Well, Niles, I found out why we were in business class. Up in business class, you have a table between you, not just an armrest." And I laid the Bible down. He said, "I'm a Christian." He said, "I've never read anything like that in the Bible." So I laid it down right between us, and I said, "Read Zechariah 14:1. He said, "A day is coming for the Lord when the spoil taken from you will be divided among you." I said, "You're on your way to Jerusalem to divide that spoil." He said, "That's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life." And he started tearing. He wasn't crying, but he teared up. And I said, "While you're there, won't you read verse 2? I will gather all the nations against Jerusalem to battle." Let me translate that for you, Niles. All the nations that have confiscated Israel's wealth are going to get punished by the Lord. Read verse 3, Niles. Excuse me. In verse 3, "Then the Lord will go forth and fight against those nations as he fights on the day of the Lord," or the day of battle. Then verse 4, Niles, "In that day his feet," his being Yeshua's feet, "will touch the Mount of Olives." And I said, now, in a time frame, in a sequence of events, the first thing that happens is we give the money of the Jewish people back to them, and that sets up a soon return of Jesus. So the money has been given back to them as we speak. So I went home. I was inspired by it. When I got home, I started doing some research on the Jewish Claims Conference. And I don't understand why I've never heard of it before. Nobody's talking about it. $70 billion have been distributed by the Jewish Claims Conference to the Jewish children and the Holocaust survivors. 70 billion. A lot of that money has come out of American banks, but mostly out of European banks. Zechariah 14:1 again. A day is coming for the Lord when the spoil taken from you will be divided among you. And that is in progress as we speak.